Hello, and welcome to video 3 of Healthy Eating and Gestational Diabetes. During this video, we will be discussing portion sizes, smart swaps, snack ideas, meal patterns, and foods to include or avoid during pregnancy. Eating well for gestational diabetes means choosing the right type and portion size of carbohydrate foods. This slide gives you a good visual representation of how big your portion sizes should be. Having a large portion size of carbohydrate at meal times will cause a large spike in your blood glucose levels. The infographic shows a clear and easy way to estimate your portion size using your hand. Aim to avoid large meals by spreading your food intake as evenly as possible throughout the day. If you are particularly hungry, piling your plate with vegetables and having a larger portion of a lean protein source will help fill you up and keep your blood glucose levels stable. These are some examples of what an actual portion size of the food you eat may be. Please hit pause to read this slide in more detail. Eating in between your meals may cause your blood glucose levels to rise above target. Try limiting your snacks between meals to no more than 10 grams of total carbohydrate, and try to choose the healthier option more often to ensure a nutrient-rich diet. This slide gives examples of both non-carbohydrate containing snack ideas and snacks which contain around 10 grams of carbohydrates. These snacks will have minimal, if any, impact on blood glucose levels. To avoid spikes in blood glucose, you should also try swapping foods like crisps, biscuits, and cakes to some of the healthier and lower carbohydrate snacks mentioned. If you currently have high carbohydrate, sugary snacks, then some simple swaps will make a big difference to improving your blood glucose control. To keep blood glucose steady throughout the day, it's important to eat regularly. Try 3 small meals and 1 to 2 snacks between each meal. The diagram on the slide shows the ideal amounts from different foods in your meal. Try and aim to fill half of your plate with salad or vegetables, a quarter with a lean protein source, and a quarter with a high fibre, more slowly absorbed carbohydrate. You can pause the video to read the slide in more detail. It is not always easy to stick to a sensible eating plan. Eating is often triggered by certain situations, emotions or feelings, and not just physical hunger. Changing the way you think about eating can take time, but it will help keep your blood glucose levels under control. A useful tool to help keep you on track is a food, mood, and blood glucose diary. This is a good visual representation of your eating patterns and the corresponding effect on your blood glucose levels. You may also be able to see patterns of emotional or stress eating. Try to include the following: when you eat or drink, how much you had, where you were, how you felt and what you were thinking at the time and afterwards, what happened to your blood glucose levels, timing of any diabetic medication you have taken. Be as honest as you can and write down everything you eat and drink for a few days. That way, it will be as accurate as possible and enable you to modify your eating accordingly. This slide gives a list of the foods to include or avoid whilst pregnant. Please pause the video to read through the slide in more detail. For more information, please visit Foods to Avoid in Pregnancy on the NHS website. During the slide, we will mention some additional topics not yet discussed. The first is physical activity. Exercise is part and parcel of managing your diabetes. In the same way that you need to eat the right things, you can also help to manage your gestational diabetes by being more active. Activity helps to manage your gestational diabetes because it increases the amount of glucose used by your muscles for energy, so it therefore helps to lower your blood glucose levels. The general advice is to aim for 30 minutes of moderate to intense activity 5 times a week. This could be in the form of, for example, a 30-minute walk. When you are pregnant, regardless of gestational diabetes, the recommendation is to completely omit cigarettes and alcohol. Drinking during pregnancy can lead to long-term harm to your baby. The more you drink, the greater the risk. Smoking can harm your unborn baby, and it makes it harder for them to get their essential oxygen supply. Finally, always avoid any food products marked as diabetic. Despite their name, these products don't offer any special benefit for people with diabetes. It is now against the law to use the term diabetic on labels. We have now come to the end of video 3 about healthy eating and gestational diabetes. Here, we will revisit a small summary of what we have learnt across the video. Having a large portion of carbohydrate at meal times will cause a large spike in your blood glucose levels. Eating in between your meals may cause your blood glucose levels to rise above target. Try and stick to 3 meals a day with 1 to 2 carbohydrate-free or low-carbohydrate snacks. A useful tool to help keep you on track is a food, mood, and blood glucose diary. Aim to exercise regularly, aiming for 30 minutes 5 times a week. Completely abstain from alcohol and cigarettes. Avoid eating food labelled as diabetic. You have been provided with a lot of information, so it may be useful to watch over these videos a few times to make sure you don't miss anything. This video was produced by registered dietitians from the NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde Diabetes Service. We thank you for watching and now encourage you to continue on to watching video 4, breastfeeding, post-birth and lifestyle.